What is a startup unit? How do you make it to a brigade in just 6 months? And how do modern Western weapons perform in the hands of Ukraine's youngest commanding officers? All this is in the story of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade. In the summer of 2023, the soldiers of the 47th Brigade are advancing in one of the most difficult areas of the front line, in the south of Ukraine.
They have been preparing defenses here for over a year, but we managed to push through. Even if it's just 1 meter a day, it's still effective. The area was heavily fortified with numerous minefields and structures, and they poured a lot of concrete here. Paladins are dismantling everything, breaking down any structure that stands in our way.
The Paladins are American 155mm M109 self-propelled howitzers used by the brigade's gunmen. These soldiers are also armed with modern Panthera T6, Max Pro, and famous American Bradley armored vehicles. In early 2023, it was announced that Ukraine would receive over 100 Bradleys from the United States. The Bradley is the primary armored personnel carrier of the U.S. Army, capable of carrying up to 6 infantry soldiers. Armed with a 25mm cannon, machine gun, and missile systems, the Bradley has a proven track record in the Gulf War and Iraq, and now it proves its worth in Ukraine.
I personally rode in the Bradley, heard the gunfire, the bullets hitting the armor. One of our battalion's vehicle came under direct grad fire and flamed out. The driver remained composed and managed to get the vehicle out and put out the fire. No one was injured in the vehicle. The sense of security provided by the Bradley is inspiring. When people ride in the Bradley, they are not afraid, as they have confidence that this vehicle will protect them.
In one of the videos, the Bradley is captured making its way through a minefield as a 152mm shell lands nearby and enemy Grad rocket artillery fires afterward. However, the Bradley remains steadfast and continues to move forward. Modern weaponry is one of the distinctive features of this brigade, but not the only one. Sometimes it is called a startup unit. In April 2022, Captain Ivan Shalamaha and Sergeant Major Valery Markus received an order to form a new battalion. This choice was not random. Shalamaha first went to war in 2018, when he was just 21. A year later, he commanded a company, and at 25, he became the youngest regimental commander in Ukrainian army history. Back in 2014, at the beginning of the hybrid war with Russia, Valery Markus was among the liberators of Kramatorsk, and the Russians put a price on his head. In 2016, Markus was injured and left the army. He wrote a book titled Footprints on the Road and sold over 55,000 copies. This made him into an influential opinion leader with approximately 1.5 million followers across various social media platforms. After the full-scale invasion, he returned to the army and was for some time involved in the formation and development of the 47th unit. The formation of the new battalion was also approached in a novel way. The decision was made to recruit only motivated soldiers, eager to learn and grow, irrespective of their previous experience in the army. Interviews with potential candidates were planned for May in 5 major Ukrainian cities. However, after the first interview session in Kyiv, the battalion quickly filled up with volunteers. A month later, they actively participated in the battles for the Vuhlegirska combined heat and power plant. Within just 2 days, the newly formed unit successfully pushed the enemy back by 4 kilometers. Subsequently, there were plans to expand the battalion into a regiment. However, before this transformation could take place, a new order was issued to create a brigade instead. The concept of a startup unit quickly scaled up. The brigade came under the command of 20-year-old Alexander Sak, the youngest brigade commander in the history of Ukraine, and a full knight of the prestigious Ukrainian Order of Bogdan Khmelnytsky. Sak has been involved in combat since 2015, was seriously wounded several times, and after the full-scale invasion became famous for burning columns of enemy vehicles as they advanced towards Kharkiv. In the autumn of 2022, the new unit started its training, which also involved training abroad.
At first, we underwent a young fighter course in the UK, which is combined arms training for all soldiers. Then had more intensive training and integration exercises in Germany.
The soldiers participated in various obstacle courses, learning how to react to explosions and gunfire while executing combat tasks in a coordinated manner. The concept of a startup unit has been maintained on the brigade-wide scale. The Chief Surgeon's lecture on leadership at the front line has already garnered over 3.2 million views in just a few months. The brigade employs innovative methods to raise funds for pickup trucks, including auctioning off Joe Biden's pen for $16,000. The team's philosophy is also unique. The soldiers are prohibited from using the word problem. Instead, they're referred to challenges. The brigade symbol is a combination of a dragon and a chess knight, symbolizing its ability to move in a non-standard manner compared to other pieces. However, earning this symbol on your uniform is not an easy task. The 47th chevron must be earned by completing an obstacle course, which includes running 10 kilometers, pull-ups, and rope climbing. Now, the 47th Brigade is in one of the most challenging areas on the front line. They're confronted with mines, tripwires, improvised explosive devices, dugouts that took a year to prepare, underground tunnels, anti-tank ditches, and dragon's teeth. Nevertheless, despite heavy fighting and casualties, the Ukrainian forces press forward. As of the end of July, the soldiers of the 47th Brigade have already destroyed several dozen enemy armored vehicles, 4 helicopters, 2 aircraft, and about a dozen ammunition depots.
We want revenge. Everyone here has a reason. They say revenge is not a good thing, but it fuels our motivation to work, and to work very well.